Hello there. What's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be asking the question, do you have too many Keyforge decks? If you are going to reply with, there are no such thing as too many Keyforge decks, I agree with you, but maybe we'll delve into that in a future video. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for future videos. But if you do have a lot of Keyforge decks, and I'm guessing that you probably do, that's probably what brought you here, you probably realize that storage for this game is not the easiest thing to think about because it's a unique type of game. Every deck is unique. You have to store those decks together. You can't just throw them into a box or throw them into a big pile without fear of them getting mixed up. You can't just put them all in 3-ring binders like we used to do years ago with virtually every other card game in existence. You can't just do that and have it be efficient and have it work for you, because you need those decks accessible, you need those decks sorted, you need those decks not to get mixed up with anything else, but also at the same time protected so that they don't jumble around with each other. You want storage that can accommodate sleeved cards, unsleeved cards, whatever you want. There's a lot of different things to think about when trying to store your Keyforge decks, especially when you've got a ton of them. So we're going to talk a little bit about big storage options, little storage options, sleeved versus unsleeved. I'll show you what I'm using, as well as some other options that I have used and I've seen other people use, and some things that I think are great. But the thing is, there's probably a lot of options. You probably have some already. So first off, if you only have a handful of decks, like maybe somewhere between 3 and 10, one of the things that you could consider, at least for now, if you're not sleeving them, is to just put the decks back in the Keyforge box. If you open your box from your Archon deck from the bottom, it usually opens very cleanly from there, and you can save that box and you can store your decks in there. I did this at Gen Con. I didn't have sleeves available at Gen Con. I didn't have a storage mechanism at Gen Con, so when I kept them in my luggage and I looked at them, put them back in their box, those boxes did get beat up. This is a short-term solution. It's good if you open a deck at a store, play with it for somebody real quick, and then just to bring it home, maybe even for another day or two, but this is not a good long-term solution. It's enough to hold you over a little bit, and it fits the size of the deck perfectly. Can't do this for sleeved cards. I wouldn't recommend doing this for a deck that you care about. If you open a double horseman deck or whatever, you know what, just don't play with it at all, just sell it. Or play with it and enjoy yourself. Do whatever you want. Actually, you should probably just play with it and enjoy yourself. But this is not an ideal solution. Some people will do this. It's good for very, very short term, or to get something from one place to another immediately. It's not the best long-term solution. But if we're talking about Keyforge things and things you already have, if you have the starter box, well, then you can always use that. A starter box actually fits decks pretty easily. It's not ideal. But it's something that you can consider using. If you lay the decks down long, on their side, they only extend a few centimeters past the top of the box, and it's enough that you can put the top on it. It'll still close, although it'll be a taller box than it was before. It's not going to fit perfectly on there, but it still fits on there. Now, this also will work with sleeved cards, but then again, at the same time, your top is going to be resting on there, so you might bend your sleeved cards. So this is a better solution for those decks that you don't have sleeved. And one of the things, if you do begin to get lots and lots of decks, like I have over 70 decks right now, so I'm not going to sleeve all of them. So this is like something I will do for a lot, and this is a photo of my actual box. I put a lot of decks that I either haven't used yet or I'm not going to use anytime soon in here, just as storage, and this way when the top does touch the cards, it's not really going to make a whole lot of difference, because if I do want to use these decks, I will sleeve them beforehand. As a matter of fact, you can see 3 boxes of sleeves right there. And the reason I have those there is to keep those decks from moving around inside the box. One of the things that will happen is I could fit like another 30 decks on the other side. You could have probably close to 100 decks in this box. But if you don't have some kind of dividers or foam core insert or something like that in there, your decks are going to go ahead and end up merging accidentally, and then you're going to have a big problem of sitting down, laying cards out on a table, trying to figure out what went where, and making sure that everything's complete. Because the last thing you want to do is be playing like in a tournament somewhere, realize you only have 36 cards in your deck and your deck is invalid. Nobody wants that. So this is one option that you can do. If you're going to do this, it's less than the most elegant solution, but one of the things I would recommend is put something in there as dividers, especially if you're going to fill up this box and just use only this box. Put some maybe foam core can cut it with either scissors, X-Acto knife, hot glue together, make yourself like a little insert to go in the core box. And then you have, especially for your home game shelf, if you've got a lot of board games, the Keyforge core box is actually a pretty good box to use because it says Keyforge on it. So if you want the games on your shelf to represent what's in those boxes, and it's just going to look right. So it'll look good on your shelf. So the Keyforge box is good for that. The way I actually sort my decks when I put them in here is I have each deck's index card facing the same direction, and that's kind of the index I have. So as I'm filtering through, I'm like, okay, here's this one and this one. One of the things also you can do is you can get normal 3x5 cards, put those in between the decks, and because they'll stick up a little bit taller, and you can even write maybe the deck name or the houses, or maybe you're going to rate them 1 to 5 stars. You can do a lot of different numbering systems. It's going to be hard because if you just write the deck names on all of them, are you really going to remember what all of those mean unless you only have a few? If you got 100 decks, you're not going to remember what all of them do. So, maybe you just want to rank them by stars or by house or a number of things. You can come up with your own solution for how you want to organize them. I don't organize mine. I just put them all in there. They're all grouped by deck, but any ones, like before I put things away, any ones that I really like, I put in a separate box. So let's talk about some separate boxes, right, with multiple storage solutions. This one is kind of cool. I repurposed an older box for Legendary, Marvel Legendary. This was the Dark City expansion. A lot of these type of boxes, and Legendary actually has a couple of expansions that had boxes like this, have built-in cardboard dividers, and this is perfect for Keyforge because you've got 2 halves in here. They're never going to get mixed up, and this can fit sleeved cards, and it's a little bit thicker, so this is perfect for sleeve. Now these aren't sleeved either, but here is an option where you can use both of those sides, the top and the bottom, totally differently. And for example, you might put all the decks you haven't played yet on the bottom, and then after you play them, you can put them on the top. If you've got a lot of decks and you haven't been able to play them all, here's a great solution for you. Or if you want to sort it by some other means, like, I don't like House Mars. So all the decks that have Mars in them are going on the top. This way I'll never play those. Or maybe all the decks that I have that are up for trade, that I'm willing to trade, are on the top. All the decks that I are off limits for trade are on the bottom. However you want to do it, that's a good option. Repurposing a lot of deck builder boxes, especially for a game like Legendary. I've got a broken token insert for Legendary. I don't need to keep all of the expansions because I can put everything in the broken token insert. So now I've got all these extra boxes, and this is one thing that happens a lot for games that have a lot of expansions. It's a great way to repurpose other boxes. Is for a game like Keyforge that it was going to grow far beyond its initial box, right? So that's one of the things I do. There are some other pretty cool options I'm going to talk about. There's a company called Ultimate Guard that makes, these are, moving forward, I'm going to talk about smaller storage options. So not to store your massive collection because you're going to probably go play, and maybe you want to go play in a tournament. Maybe you want to bring like 3 decks with you, and you're gonna, depending on which format you're going to do. Usually you don't need more than 3. But yeah, so Ultimate Guard, I actually have one of these, and this is a really nice box. It'll hold about 4 sleeved decks, plus it has this little drawer in the middle, and then I can put all my tokens in. It's just really, really nice. And I really like this one. Ultimate, they sell these on cool stuff. This is called the Twin Flippin' Tray deck case, Xeno Skin, Xeno, I believe. And it's a great little case. I was using this for Destiny. I'm really not playing Destiny anymore, but it works for Keyforge. It's a great little solution. It works for a lot of different games. And they have magnetized doors, which is really the coolest thing. They have little magnets in the door, so it'll flip closed. It'll stay closed reliably, but then with very, very minimal effort, you can just open the flap and open those doors. It's got a top flap, a bottom flap, and that middle flap that has your drawer in there. That one's really nice. There's a bigger one if you want to bring more decks out. If you're going out for a big play day, and this I think is about $30 for this one. If you want to spend a little bit more, this one's really nice. This is the Ultimate Guard deck box Super Hive Xeno Skin. This one holds a ton of decks. It holds a lot more decks. It also holds a playmat. So if you've got like one of these playmats, that you want to unroll, and this one's actually from Doomtown. I don't know if you guys ever remember that game. I used to play Doomtown quite a bit. But yeah, you can put your playmat in there as well. It has the little section on the side that's basically the same little cubby that has all your tokens and stuff. And you can hold, I think, twice or even 3 times as many decks in something like this. Really cool. I think this one pushes closer to about $50. You can find these. You can find them on coolstuff.com. I'm sure you can just Google and find them in another number of other places as well. This one is very, very nice. I usually don't bring a playmat with me everywhere I go. A lot of times when I am playing, I'm playing at a store that already has playmat, like basically playmats all over the tabletops, so I don't really need them anyway. But some folks like to bring their own playmat, especially if you've got a special playmat or a personalized playmat. This is a great box if you're thinking about something like that. Now I'm going to show you my solution. This one is a little interesting. At my company Christmas party this year, there was this box came out, and I stole it from somebody else because I had no idea what was in it. It turns out it had like whiskey glasses in it and whiskey rocks and stuff like that. And so obviously I wasn't going to keep those. I put all this stuff away, and I had this box left over. I'm not going to keep a whiskey, 2 whiskey glasses in a box. That seemed weird, but I thought it was a cool box. It has this little latch on the front. So I opened it up, I pulled out the foam, I used some of the foam to make a divider. And this actually fits Keyforge really, really well. And then this one I can hold about 7 or 8 decks, and plus I have a separate little case that holds all my tokens and dice and things like that. So this is just like a homebrewed solution, just you can kind of repurpose anything. This is what I'm using right now. 7 or 8 decks is more than enough to accommodate, just about any, let's go play Keyforge kind of event. And if I don't want to have that big tray on the bottom left that you see there, I could easily just have, a smaller solution. But I really, I'm not sure if I really want to continue using the cardboard. I like using my own tokens and other things for Amber. So, to each their own. There's a lot of different options here. I would love to hear what your options are. What are you guys using to store your Keyforge decks? Are you sleeving them, or are you keeping certain decks in storage unsleeved? What other options have you guys come up with? Let me know down in the comments below. If you see somebody else's comment too that inspires you, give it a like and give it a thumbs up too. All right, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, click that bell for alerts so you will be notified. You can join the notification squad when new videos come out, and I hope you guys are having a great new year so far. Should be some more, hopefully we'll get some more Keyforge news for 2019. I wonder if we'll get another set this year, like an expansion set for Keyforge. Let me know in the comments as well if you think we're going to get that. All right, guys, I want to thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys are having a great day. Take it easy.